welcome to my channel. Today we'll see the recipe for the most delicious Kerala Appam and beef stew. This Appam is made of rice, coconut and yeast, and along with it we're going to make the beef stew, which is made of beef, potatoes and carrot, simmered in aromatic spices and coconut milk. Now for the appam, let's take 4 cups of rice that has been soaked in water for about 3 to 5 hours and wash and drain and transfer it to a mixer jar. So we're going to grind in batches. So to the first batch of rice, I'm adding grated coconut, onions, cooked rice and cumin seeds. And to the second batch of rice, I'm going to add sugar and yeast. Because the mixer jar will not hold the whole amount of rice, so we are going to grind in batches. Now this is the instant yeast that I am using. The batter will rise within an hour with this yeast. So once the batter rises, I stir it once and wait for about 3 to 5 hours to make the appams. If the batter rises too quickly and comes out of the vessel, please divide the batter between 2 vessels like this. Now let's cover and ferment for about 3 to 5 hours. Adding about half teaspoon of salt and mixing it well. If after fermentation the batter seems too thick, add little water to make it into flowing consistency. Keep it aside for an hour to ferment and then make the appams. Use a non-stick pan or a pan that has been well seasoned so that the appam does not get stuck to the bottom. Since no oil is used in this process, so either the appams can be made by flattening with the back of the spoon or by rotating the pan to get the shape of a circle. Cover and cook the appam for 1 to 2 minutes on a low flame, and once the top has been cooked, transfer it to another plate. Now let's check out the recipe for the beef stew. This recipe is from my mom, so it's so special to me. So we're getting our spices ready for making the stew. So all the details have been added in the description. So these spices have to be pound and not ground. So we're taking a mortar and pestle and let's pound it using it. So once it's pound, you get the beautiful aroma of these spices. So this is the key ingredient of the stew. Now for the stew, I have extracted coconut milk from half a coconut. So I have taken 2 cups of thick coconut milk and 2 cups of thin coconut milk. So to 1 cup of thin milk, I'm adding cashew nuts that has been previously soaked in hot water, and I'm going to grind it to a fine paste. Now heat a pan, add onions that has been sliced lengthwise with the curry leaves, coconut oil and the spices. Now let's add coarsely ground pepper. You can also add powdered pepper if you have, and also whole pepper. This just adds beauty to the stew, and also when you get it to bite between the stew, it's so tasty. Now I'm adding cooked beef. This beef has been cooked with ginger, garlic and chilies and garam masala. After this, I'm going to add the thin coconut milk. So I have about 4 cups of milk, that is 2 cups of thin coconut milk and 2 cups of thick coconut milk. So 1 cup of thin coconut milk has been ground with cashew nut. So now let's add potatoes and carrot. and I've cut it into cube sizes. Now add this to the stew. Adding thick coconut milk, and once the thick coconut milk has been added, the gravy shouldn't be allowed to boil, and along with it adding the thin coconut milk that has been ground with the cashew. I have ground here coarsely because I like to eat the cashew in the gravy. If you do not like it that way, you can grind it to a fine paste and add it to the gravy. Adding salt to taste. Lastly, let's add the remaining coconut milk, that is the thick milk, and simmer. Once it's about to boil, let's switch off the stove. Now, if you do not prefer much potatoes, you can reduce the number of potatoes to 1. Do not increase the number of carrots in the stew because the taste changes when more carrots are used. Now for the seasoning, I'm adding butter or ghee to a pan, and let's add the cashew and saute until it becomes light brown. Along with it, I'm adding dried raisins. Once they are sauteed, let's pour it over the hot stew. Combination of appam and stew is very popular, and if you have tasted the stew at least once, I'm sure you'll get hooked to it. So please do try and let me know, and see you soon in my next video. Till then, it's bye from Esme.